I would personally ignore most of the news, especially when trying to assess what's going on inside the cryptocurrency market. I've come, in my opinion, I've come to the understanding that it's a good chance that this market could go either way, seeing that we're seeing pretty much mixed signals in the market, right? On one half of the theme here, we got the bullish crowd paying attention to the global M2 and the global M2 rising and seeing that Bitcoin usually lags the global M2 by 10 weeks. A lot of people are anticipating sometime maybe in May or June we see a fierce rally to the upside from Bitcoin and altcoins. And it's a valid argument, right? I can't argue against that because every time we've seen the global liquidity raise to the upside, at least most times, you normally see risk on assets follow. I think that the issue here is the uncertainty in the market, and this is why I don't get wrapped up into trying to buy the dip. I rather get confirmation from my indicators. And I want to say this, right? I'm not saying you got to go out there and just study the charts like you're the greatest of all time, but just having an understanding of patterns and indicators and momentum and crypto really helps with your decision making. And a lot of people downplay charts, and I get it. Charts, if you're in your opinion, if they don't work, that's fine, but it works for me. The fact that of the matter is that there's a lot of uncertainty in the market. We got recessionary fears, whether Trump pushes us into a recession or not. The fear is out there. The potential of a government shutdown is now being anticipated, and of course, monetary tightening, which, in my opinion, this is the one that's going to probably shake a lot of people out based on time capitulation, because you can see here, based on the CME group, they are not pricing in the first Fed cut until June. We don't even have a meeting in April. May was optimistic, but it looks like Powell, for the most part, wants to play hardball because inflation is still rising. And of course, this month here, right, March 19th, looks like it's going to be another pause, right? So as long as we're in an environment of quantitative tightening, one can argue that even if the global liquidity starts to extend, what type of rally truly would we will we see from Bitcoin and some of these altcoins? I think a rally is still on the table, historically, based on some of the things people look for, right? When you look at that pie chart indicator and Ethereum hitting an all-time high and things of that sort. But I can't argue that there are a lot of signs of weakness in the economy, which could further, far outreach, what we're seeing in the crypto market. It really doesn't matter what's going on in the crypto market. We can get as much bullish news as we want, but if the economy is weakening and people frankly just don't have money, that's going to affect the cryptocurrency market because it's driven by liquidity. We can argue it all day, but it's driven by liquidity. And this is what I've learned personally in my experience, is not to fight the Fed, man. You know what I'm saying? Whenever we're in an area of, an environment where there hasn't been restrictive policy or there has been quantitative easing, crypto has really excelled, and that's why people were expecting this massive alt season. But I think people just downplayed, in my opinion. And I was one of the ones that just couldn't get it in my head personally. How you know why, or should I say, altcoin season hasn't happened, and frankly, it hasn't happened because we're in quantitative tightening, and there's just not enough liquidity out there. A lot of the tokens are already liquid. So lesson learned there. Cool. Never again am I going to fight the Fed at all when it comes to restrictive policy and risk on assets. And let me frankly, let me know you guys opinions on risk on assets. Another thing that's causing a lot of fear in the market, and it's causing the fear and greed index to go down, is the S&P correction. So if you look at the S&P, it's really starting to struggle, and it's broken key moving averages, which is the 21-day and the 50-day moving average, which is historically bad when it breaks that moving average, coupled with then stock RSI that's oversold. So just because we're oversold doesn't mean a bounce is on the table. Right now, you're kind of like betting that the S&P, because it's known for only going up and to the right, which just put in, frankly, a lower low here on the stock RSI, but you're kind of betting that you get an fierce move to the upside, as we seen from the last two times we broke both of these moving averages. We broke them here, and we bounced back to the upside. We broke it here and we bounced back to the upside. You just don't want it to be, you know, 2022, because if it's 2022, well, then we went into a year-long bear market with the S&P. And this is the fear that the market is anticipating. The market is anticipating that the S&P already had its move, right? It already had its move here. And again, like I said, it's no chance the way crypto is right now that it, and I'm just being honest, that it decouples from the S&P, right? You could say the S&P had its move here, and then we had a year-long bear market. And at the end of the day, I know we want to say the S&P, it can go higher. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, you can't deny that it had a move, just like the total three had a move, which is altcoins. Just like Bitcoin went from 15K to 108, and we cannot deny it. So at the end of the day, it really is depending on if the stock market is done. It's a good chance that maybe we are entering, a environment where things will be bearish. I'm not going to say a bear market, but if the stock market is done, right, and the stock market has been raising higher, we've seen the XHB look to put in the bottom, but then it just fell off, right? It just fell off and broke key support here at about 995. So if unemployment goes up and this chart continues to go down, that's a sign of a weakening economy, which is recession signs, right? So again, oversold though, but that doesn't mean just because things are oversold, it's supposed to go straight back up. We got to understand that we need certain things to happen, momentum, and a lot of things goes into, these readings for the stock RSI, right? But would you argue here that the home builders market had a move here, year-long bear market, and a move here? Would you say that it's time for the year-long bear market? I want to know everybody's opinion. I'm just pointing things out that I'm seeing. And again, I don't want to say that this is a bear market because I don't even know. We can easily bounce back up to the upside. I just think that we're a little bit extended, a little further than what people want to admit when it comes to these risk-on assets in general. At the end of the day, we've been going up for a while on risk-on assets in general. I got to say that. So at some point, things do got to cool off. And I'm not just talking about cool off for a week, cool off for a month, maybe 3 to 6 months. Who knows? So I think the key thing here is to understand preparation and how to actually make money in a bear market, whether, you're doing short and all type of stuff. But I'm not saying it's a bear market. What I'm telling you guys is what I plan on doing is increasing my hustle. And this reminds me of what was happening in bear market. We talked about this last bear environment, how we need to double our work ethic, we need to go harder, we need to make sure we take advantage of these corrections, because these corrections may not last. I think thinking out the box and having an optimistic mindset here is just lasting, right? Making sure you do got that stable and consistent income for the next 3 to 6 months, regardless of what happens, right? But the market doesn't like uncertainty, coupled with the fact that we've been going up for a while. Whether you look at the stock market or you look at cryptocurrencies. Granted, you would have, you have to be in the right cryptocurrencies, but just look at them. Just look at Bitcoin. Just look at the total cryptocurrency market cap. All right, so I think caution is valid. We had a little bit of pump for the last couple of days, but now it's retracing. So you can see that there's clearly weakness in the market. You can clearly see that there's weakness in the market. You be the judge, guys. Let me know what you think. I just want to point out some things that I'm seeing. If you had to ask me, are we gonna bounce? Because we could just we could really bounce from here. We can really, really bounce from here and put in my opinion, that last phase. I don't think that it's gonna be the beginning of anything. I think this is gonna be the last leg up before we enter a bearish environment. And I gotta stick to my thesis because I've been here for a few years, and I've seen that we have been going only up in the fashion of the total cryptocurrency market cap. I understand there's been coins here that pump, maybe coins there that didn't pump, but we have been going up. You know what I mean? And it's been for multiple years now. So if you had to ask me, 50% chance we go put this next leg up, and it's going to be a fierce next leg up, because when you get an oversold S&P coupled with the global liquidity, right, the M2, beautiful things can happen, right? Beautiful things can happen. So what we're anticipating is that this global 2 And these economies that's injecting this liquidity is going to be that safe haven that pushes us up into the next phase, right? I would also add additions here like the Fed coming out and saying, "Hey, we're done with quantitative tightening," and just seeing an economy that's starting to blossom, which would negate some of the fear and uncertainty we're seeing in the market. But this is the time where we tighten up, man. We can't complain. We tighten up. It is what it is. We figure this thing out, guys. Let me know what y'all think. It's your boy Crypto Millie. I'll see you in the next one.